What's up, y'all? Tap in, tap in. Excuse the shirt, it's hot out here. Check this out. You got a lot of coaches telling men and women to stay away from dating apps. And I do not agree with that. Here's why. Depending on where you are geographically, you ain't got no options like that around you. When you go outside, you run into people who make a terrible match for you, right? So you're gonna need other resources to find your spouse, right? We just got to keep it 100, right? Now, there are some apps you might want to stay away from, right? Sites like POF, which is Plenty of Fish, Tinder, Bumble. Some of those sites have been known to be hookup sites. Now, I'm not saying that no one has had success with those sites, but those sites have gained a reputation of being hookup sites. Now, me personally, I've had success with sites like Hinge, Match.com, and a few others, right? And let me say this. When you use some of your more quality apps that have more what you would call quote unquote quality people, before you step out there, you want to make sure you on your A game, right? You want to make sure you right physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, all that, right? Because you're gonna run into some people that's just simply out of your league. I'm gonna just keep it 100, right? I remember a few years ago I got on one of them sites, and I got on there, got to talking to people, and they was asking me questions I did not want to answer. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you, and I just realized, hey man, there's levels to this thing. So I just had to get myself together as a man before I try to approach certain types of women, right? And it is what it is. There's no shame in that. But anyway, there are some issues you can run into if you resort to just meeting people in person. Now, there's nothing wrong with meeting people in person. It's actually a good thing because you're not going to get catfished. You can see what you're dealing with. You can talk to that person. You can get to know them in person. And boom, you tackle a whole lot of things early on. But the issues you can run into when you resort to solely just meeting people in person is you can be going out, right? And you can name the place. It don't matter where you at. But say you spot somebody out that you find attractive. Now you got to go and figure out if they're single, if they're married, what they got going on. You got to find all this information out before you actually get the bond with them, right? Versus when you're online dating, more than likely you already in a pool of people who are, single. And also there are certain filters you can set to where you kind of know, okay, I'm only going to be dealing with people that's in this category, or I'm only going to be dealing with people that's in that category. You see what I'm saying? It does the work for you. Now, there are people online playing games, so I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect. But what I'm saying is you don't want to close down that avenue because in many ways it does simplify the process for you, right? So you want to keep the door open of meeting people online and in person, right? You want to leave all these avenues open. And a large problem is this. A lot of the men and women who are telling people to stay away from these different apps and things like that are men and women who have been married for a while. So they haven't been in the current dating market, right? So they're giving advice based off of when they dated 10, 20 years ago, and they're giving advice based off of other people who they're coaching, right? And, everyone knows experience is the best teacher, right? Me, myself, I'm only a year removed. Remember, I met my wife last year and we got married after only knowing each other for 3 months. So you talking to somebody who was actually out there in the field. I talked to roughly 100 women in a short period of time when looking for my wife. So I already know all the ins and outs of dating. And again, you want to know when you need to avoid a situation, when you need to lean into a situation. You want to know all those things. And that's why I'm trying to coach you guys. Another thing, you want to know how to properly vet someone, right? You want to know what to do as far as you putting your time into something that's going to turn out to be something that could be decent or good versus knowing, okay, I need to go ahead and cut this off. This is a waste of time, right? You want to know all those things, right? Another thing, when you meet someone in person, you run across the risk of them lying about their situation. Because remember, when you meet someone in person, that's a private situation. That's between you and that person. So if that person finds you attractive, and let's just say they take your number, you don't truly know what they got going on. And it's not like there are people out there that's gonna say, hey, don't talk to them because da 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 da, unless you out there trying to seek information, right? But in a lot of cases, what happens is, since no one knows that you all bonded and exchange numbers or whatever the case is, it's just fair game. You know, and you may later find out what they got going on in their real life. Unlike when someone's online and they have a public profile, people know that this person is out here looking and they're single and they're putting themselves out there on the market, right? In a personal situation, when you meet them in person, you don't really know, right? Unless you already know them or know of them. You see what I'm saying? So it's pros and cons to both of it. And I mean, I know there are people online that play games also. You know what I'm saying? So games being played can be done either way. But I just say keep those doors open. Don't shut down those avenues as to how you can meet your spouse. Leave those doors open. Many of you need coaching. You don't know how to date. You don't know how to be in a relationship. You don't know how to marry, right? You need coaching. And for that, you need to reach out to coaches or reach out to coaches like myself or go to 6monthsandmarried.com, you know, book a course, book a call, you know, get involved in all of that. But again, do not close down your avenues. Keep your avenues open, right? And be mindful of some sites. Yeah, you do want to stay away from some sites. But that's me, M. Speece, checking out.